Angels Care Home Health, serving Hayes and the surrounding areas, is a Medicare-certified home health agency providing quality skilled nursing and restorative therapy services to patients in their homes.
They're polite. I mean, they just take the time for you.
Angels Care is there to help 24 hours a day, and all services are covered 100% by Medicare for patients who are eligible.
I like the Angels for what they've done for me.
Angels Care Home Health. We serve patients.
Eagle Community Television presents Community Connection with your host, Mike Cooper.
Hello and welcome again to Community Connection from Eagle Community Television. Thanks for watching. Thanks as always to the producer of our series, Jeff Durall. We're at Sunrise Park on Lawrence Drive in Hayes with the City of Hayes Water Conservation Director, Jason Riegel.
Yes.
Jason's back with us again as we preview the summer of 2016 at Sunrise Park. And let's start with the parks, if we could, Jason,
Sure.
about water usage at the parks and how the city fits into this.
There are some of our parks are watered with city water. Some of those have been converted to buffalo grass. Auble-Bickle Park, for instance, is a big example. 2 or 3 years ago, they went from irrigated fescue to irrigated buffalo, saved a whole lot of water. 80% of the water that was going on that park to keep that fescue alive is now conserved.
80%?
Yes, yep.
Wow.
And we also use effluent water, which is wastewater effluent that would normally go through Chitola Creek, out to Big Creek, eventually ending up in the Smoky. We use that for watering the golf course, watering some ball fields. The sports complex out there is watered with that, so that's how we can keep those nice green spaces alive, and for people to go out and enjoy, play soccer on, do stuff like that on, and run around, and recycling water essentially. So
5 and 6 inches of rain in April and May doesn't hurt, though, does
certainly
it?
Doesn't hurt anything. It's hard to wipe the smile off our faces down at utilities now. You know, it's hard. When you see the Smoky running, and you see Big Creek out of its banks, it's alarming to some people, and it's alarming to us too. But you know, we'll take ample moisture, but we'll take excessive moisture sometimes too. So,
Jason, we know though that good things can suddenly come to an abrupt end.
That's
and
correct.
We go into the summer months again, which is typically a very dry time of the year, so we will have conservation rules in effect again this summer.
That's correct. Starting June 1st, as part of our IGUCA, our intensive groundwater use control area that Hayes is in, June 1st through September 30th, outdoor water use is prohibited from 12 to 7. That's to lessen the effects of evaporation. I mean, that's not a time you really want to be watering anyway. But that'll lessen the effects of evaporation. So between 12 and 7, outdoor water use is prohibited, lawn watering, car washing, stuff like that. But before noon and after 7, it's good to go. So.
You want to be careful too about how that water is used, because sometimes these automatic sprinkler systems, when they're watering, are spraying more on the sidewalks and
Correct.
in the gutters than they are on the lawns.
Yep. Now, and you know, a lot of people probably haven't even used their sprinkler system yet this year, given the abundant moisture we've had. So it's a good idea to start that up during the daytime. But you know, and check that out, make sure all the heads are still aligned, make sure everything's good, because you know, if you've got water running down the sewer, PD does take note of that, and they will stop and give you a warning if you've got water running down the sewer.
What is the Water Smart program, and how does that fit into the overall conservation efforts?
Water Smart program is it's kind of a thought process with the City of Hayes for landscaping. You know, there's 7 principles for landscaping. You know, you want to group similar plants together with similar water use requirements. You want to have practical turf areas. You know, everybody loves that golf course look, but it's not real practical. You know, from a day-to-day basis, if you can't go out there and play frisbee with a dog or toss a football around, it's not a great practical use of turf, especially irrigated turf. So that Water Smart kind of mindset, 7 principles, really kind of hits that home, pushes that forward. Then we have an awards giveaway that we're doing for residential and commercial landscapes in town. June 1st is the deadline to get those in, so if you call the Parks Department, you want to call the Parks Department as soon as you can to get those in, run out of time. But we'll give an award and a certificate to somebody in the Hayes community that has done a great job in you know, promoting those 7 principles. of landscaping.
Are those principles on the City of Hayes
They are.
website?
They are.
Jason?
You can go find those on the City of Hayes website, hayesusa.com.
Okay.
If you click on water conservation, they'll be there, and it's good. Especially if you're planning a new landscape or maybe just ready for a change. We've got a program that can help you with that change too. But it's a good idea to look at those principles and try to follow them as much as you can.
HayesUSA.
HayesUSA.com.
Okay. And this Water Smart program has reached the support of the Hayes Beautification Committee, so you had a lot of people on board with this.
That's
program.
correct. Yeah, the Beautification Committee has been fun to work with, and they are they're gonna help us out with these awards and help us push that, kind of put those businesses that have made a change. There's a lot of commercial businesses. If you drive along Vine and along 22nd Street especially, you can see a lot of changes that have been made in the way that people think about Hayes appropriate landscaping, and the Hayes Beautification Committee certainly plays a part in that. So.
And the new bank there has some beautiful native plants that are water tolerant and,
Exactly.
And really give efficient use of water.
Absolutely, and the city applauds all the commercial customers and residential customers too that have gone out and either through the part of our turf conversion Catch for Grass program or not, or just kind of did it on their own. The city applauds those efforts, and we thank those customers.
And you want to support those efforts where you can.
Absolutely, yeah, right.
All right, talk about that turf conversion program again so people can be aware of it, Jason.
Okay, this is the second year for this program. Last year was the inaugural year. We converted about 66,000 square feet of well-maintained cool season grass to other drought-tolerant, Hayes appropriate landscape types.
66,000.
Yeah, had a good, about an acre, foot and a half of water, it's all about helping the customer save, but also helping the city prolong its water sources. So this program's been pretty successful so far. This year we've got 30 people in. We've only got 50 spots. So if people are interested, I certainly encourage them to contact me. The process starts with a pre-inspection. I've got to see. Don't tell up what you've got. Don't tear it up. Let me see it first, so I can give you an idea about how much rebate you'll get.
Okay.
And then so give me a call, 628-7350. And we'll set up that pre-inspection and get the ball rolling.
Okay, so if you have a cool season grass that has water intensive, especially as we get into the hot summer months and the water usage always increases, you have a cool season grass, you want to convert that to a more drought tolerant and water less intensive use.
The landscape types that are acceptable are warm season grass, buffalo and Bermuda, xeriscaping, mulched areas, rocked areas, and artificial turf is also we're seeing a little bit of insurgence of artificial turf in town, synthetic turf, which is interesting. But those are all three eligible for this program. It's a $1 per square foot rebate up to $1,000 per property. So it's a good rebate, and not only can you count that, savings, it's a long-term savings essentially. If you had a large expanse of fescue, you could save $700 a year on your water bills. Just by converting. So not only are we going to pay you to buy your landscaping, to buy your grass, but we're going to save you a lot of money every year. So
and every year you get those savings because of the less water that you use.
Yep, absolutely.
What are we seeing behind us here? This is the Sunrise Park area, and it's a beautiful display of some of the native plants.
These are native ornamental grasses, which are good for. They've kind of provided, if you need a natural fence, natural shades, a lot of these will provide that. But yeah, these are all native. These have been here 5 or 6 years, so these are all pretty well established. So they have signage. Anybody wants to come out here and take a look at these. We've also got a couple other demonstration gardens, one in front of City Hall at 1507 Main, that's meticulously kept by Joanne, the city's horticulturist. She does an awesome job keeping that up. And there's also one at on Pershing, 20th and Pershing, kind of on a triangle median. So it gives people an idea about, they can look at some xeriscaping and kind of think, well, I like that one, but I don't like that one. So
Jeff and I were at City Hall here a week or so ago for a program, and we noticed that area out there. It's really beautiful.
Looks great. Yeah, it looks great.
Really.
And the ample moisture certainly doesn't hurt either. So
no, every little bit helps.
That's right.
Doesn't it? Especially the cool temperatures and such as that.
Absolutely.
With the lack of heat, keeping that water conserved.
Exactly. Yep.
But the city of Hayes has been implementing these kinds of programs The newest one is a rain garden program. Now, what's that all about?
Well,
Jason?
it's not an official program yet. We're kind of planning to kick that off in 2017. But the concept of a rain garden, a rain garden, traditionally landscapes, ever since landscapes have really been around, ever since people have been, planting stuff around their homes. It's been to shed water. That's the intent, is to get rid of all the water that comes on the property, get rid of it as quickly as you can because of the issues that can cause.
Yeah.
Well, rain gardens, they capture that water. It's just a small depression in an area where there's going to be runoff, and it's a water catchment system essentially to let that water percolate back in the ground. A lot of times you'll amend the soil with some compost to get a good base, but you're letting that water soak back into the aquifer instead of running off.
And the grasses can contain that water.
That's correct.
And help to.
It cleans it up from a stormwater perspective. From a water quality perspective, leaving the city. It also, it waters itself. I mean, if we get a 1/4 inch of moisture, all that's going to flow right through that rain channel and keep that stuff alive. A lot of these grasses like this are good choices for these rain gardens.
And part of that is what we're seeing in some of the canal areas with the grasses, slowing the water process. If we get a lot of rain, it reduces flood possibilities,
Exactly.
as well as cleaning the water. So when it does go into the system, it's a lot cleaner, I guess.
Exactly.
And a lot less difficult to clean
Yep.
up eventually.
Yeah, you're taking care of a lot of that. You're slowing that water down so much. You're taking care of a lot of that sediment, a lot of the nutrients that are going to end up, causing algal blooms at Canopolis, downstream. That's, a lot of people think about watersheds as kind of an individual system, and they are an individual system. But we've got a lot of areas that we're contributing to too. So that certainly helps.
It all has to wind up somewhere.
It all
doesn't
goes
it?
somewhere. It goes downhill.
And this rain garden concept then, is that going to be at the water plant?
At the
then?
water plant, yep, at 10th and Vine, right in front there, we're going to kind of create a demonstration for people to come and take a look at. We're going to, have some rocked areas, some mulched areas. We're going to, have a couple trees and have a walking path, and people, a way for people to come up there and take a look at what we've got and take a look kind of a different way of landscaping. Instead of channeling all that water off, we're going to channel it beneficially.
I love how the city is able to create these demonstration plots so that people can actually see, homeowners, businesses and such, can see what's
Right.
working, what looks good. If they have an imagination of it, they
Right.
can actually see the final result
Yep.
and say, hey, this would work in my instance.
This would look good in my yard, yeah. And that's kind of, and we're trying some different things, and that's kind of like, that's why we're trying some different things, try to give people an idea, of all the possibilities that exist. We've seen some really creative, ever since we had the landscape ordinance has been in place for about 2 years, we've seen, the local landscape community has found some pretty creative ways to landscape. It's been interesting to kind of watch that progression, so, and we applaud them as well.
I know as City of Hayes Water Conservation Specialist, you get a chance to input from a lot of different sources around the country, if you will.
Right.
What's coming up? What's new? What are you hearing? What kinds of things have you been involved in?
Gray water reuse is kind of an emerging topic. Gray water is your bath water, is your sink water. Anything that's not toilet water. And gray water catchment systems, and the ability to use that to irrigate, to flush toilet, to essentially recycle all that water that is still safe and quality and good. But for uses, instead of flushing drinking water down the toilet, we're using some other water, that we've recycled. Instead of irrigating with drinking water, we're irrigating with gray water. So that's certainly on the horizon at some point.
We'll be watching for further developments.
Absolutely,
in that, then, Jason.
absolutely.
And speaking of reusing the water, Stacy Menson, K-State Water Specialist on the Rain Barrel Project, that's a perfect way for homeowners to reuse some of that water that comes to us naturally.
Absolutely, and we talk about the concept of rain garden and when water, sweeping that water away. Well, a rain barrel is going to help you capture a lot of that water and use in gardens or indoor plants, outdoor plants, whatever you need. Trees, trees like that water too. Rainwater is naturally soft. It's free, and right now it's plentiful. So we'll take it.
And the plants love it.
That's right. Yeah, they do.
Jason, We appreciate your efforts.
Thank
we
you, Mike.
appreciate your work through the city of Hayes in education, as well as the development of some of the new things that we're seeing on the horizon to keep the city of Hayes forefront in water conservation efforts, as
Thank you,
we
Mike.
know they are.
Yes, thank you, Mike.
Jason Riegel, City of Hayes Water Conservation Specialist, our community connection.
Angels Care Home Health, serving Hayes and the surrounding areas, is a Medicare certified home health agency providing quality skilled nursing and restorative therapy services to patients in their homes.
And the Angel Care nurse comes to see me once a week.
Angels Care is there to help 24 hours a day, and all services are covered 100% by Medicare for patients who are eligible.
Angel Care has helped to stay home.
Angels Care Home Health. We serve patients.